Welcome back everyone. If you're new to my channel, my name is Hannah, also known as Tropical Plant Addict, and today I'm going to be doing a total rescape of my biOrb AIR Terrarium. So I've had this terrarium just over 2 years and I'm still really enjoying it, and over the years I've had various displays in it. I'll attach some pictures on the screen so you can have a look. But today I wanted to do something a bit different, so I've emptied the whole thing out. I've given it a good clean and I've put some soil in so it's all ready to go. For those of you that aren't familiar with the biOrb AIR Terrarium, it's basically a fully automated terrarium that provides your plants with light, humidity, airflow and moisture. It creates the perfect microclimate for tropical plants, and it's certainly a statement in any room. If you'd like to know a bit more information about the terrarium and how it works, I'll attach the biOrb website for you below, and also a link to my biOrb AIR playlist. So here you'll see me kind of planting it up for the first time and showing you a little bit about how it works, and then various tours and maintenance videos that I've filmed over the years. So when you purchase the biOrb AIR, you actually get a block of Coir compost with it. So I've just mixed up my own soil mix today, and it's a mix of Coir, perlite, orchid bark and a little bit of activated charcoal. If you'd like a little bit more detail on my soil mix, I'll also attach that video below for you. I've already put the soil in just to save a little bit of time and mess. So this time I'm going to try and keep my biOrb AIR a little bit more minimal, and I'm going to use smaller plants because the plants love it so much in there that they grow quite quickly. So I would recommend putting in smaller plants so you won't have to rescape it or prune it quite as often. So I'm going to be adding a selection of new plants today and also putting in a few existing plants. But this terrarium will be great for any moisture loving plants that love high humidity. There's a couple of rare plants that I've been trying to get hold of for this video, but I didn't have any luck. So if I manage to get hold of them eventually, I can add them into my new display. So to begin with, I'm just going to go through some of the plants with you before I start scaping. So the first plant that I'm going to be adding into the biOrb AIR is my beautiful Begonia Amphioxus, which I have been growing in here for over a year. So originally this was 2 small unrooted cuttings. So over time it has actually multiplied, and I would like to make this the vocal part of my display because it is such a beautiful and unusual looking plant. And I also picked up some babies as well, just so I can make a proper Begonia Amphioxus forest in the middle. This particular begonia is native to Borneo. It loves warm temperatures and high humidity. It is pretty fussy and it does drop leaves quite easily, but the good thing about it is that it propagates really easily. So if the leaves do drop, they can actually reroot, and they're very, very easy to root in water. So I'll be adding my original one back in along with some baby plants. Next up we've got the Photonia, also known as the nerve plant. I actually wasn't going to add any Photonia back in this time, as I feel like they can take over a little bit, but I just couldn't resist them because they're so beautiful and they add a lovely splash of colour. The colours will stay lovely and vibrant in bright indirect light, and these also really appreciate moist soil and high humidity, so perfect for the biOrb AIR. The next plant I'm going to add in is some variegated ivy. I thought this would look lovely trailing up one of the rockwood ornaments, or even trailing up the sides or the back of the terrarium. And I've only had this about a week and it's already grown quite a lot. So I've got a feeling it's going to really love the conditions of the terrarium. Next up, I've got the purple velvet plant, which is native to Southeast Asia. I was really drawn to the colour of this plant. It's got beautiful velvety deep green foliage with purple hairs all over it. Bright light really intensifies the colour of this plant, so it'll be perfect for the terrarium. And this is actually a trailing plant and apparently really easy to propagate. This plant can actually flower, but apparently the flowers smell horrendous. So if it does flower, I'll be trimming them off. Next up, I've got a couple of baby Boston ferns, also known as the sword fern. They should really appreciate the conditions inside the biOrb AIR because they love high humidity and moist soil. I don't do that well with ferns, to be honest, so the best place for them will be inside this terrarium. The next plant I'll be adding to my display is the beautiful Begonia Listada, also known as the striped begonia. And it's got these beautiful, thick, hairy leaves and this wonderful, vibrant stripe. Really striking. and the back of the foliage is this lovely deep maroon colour. So this plant is native to Brazil. It's mainly grown for its foliage, although it can flower. I chose this particular plant because I feel like it'll add some nice colour and texture to the display. I might possibly add in my baby Alocasia Cuprea, also known as Red Secret. This is one that I grew from a tiny little shoot, and now it's got 4 leaves. I'll see how the display is looking, and then I might add this one in, but I'm not quite sure yet. Last but not least, I've got some cushion moss, also known as bun moss, and I got this from the Moss Fairy on Etsy. These will also add some nice texture to the display. This moss also appreciates moist soil and high humidity. So I already have one rockwood ornament that I used in my original display, and I also decided to purchase another one in a slightly different shape. So I also decided to get this one as I'd like to make a little bit more of a feature out of them. I also have another bit of wood somewhere as well. Before I forget, I have added the biOrb Air and accessories into my Amazon shop, which is linked below in the description box, and I'll also add some direct links to the product. So now I'm going to zoom in a bit for you so you can see me planting it up. And I apologise for the ring light reflection, there's not much I can do about that, but once I've planted it up, I will be putting it back into position and give you a good old tour. I have removed the lid for the video, so this will just give you a bit of a better view of me planting it up. The first thing I said when I switched the light on was, wow, it looks really pretty. I'm really pleased with how it came out. I ended up breaking up the moss a bit with the piece of wood. I also added a Begonia maculata whitey at the back just to fill in that space. I already had that one growing from a small cutting in here before. I also added in the Cuprea. Overall, I think the display looks really pleasing to the eye as there's a good mixture of colour, texture and pattern. Obviously the plants have got to settle in a bit, and as they grow they'll look even nicer. I'll give you a tour from the top so you get a better look. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you've already got a biOrb and what kind of plants you're growing in yours. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, please leave them below in the comments. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all soon.